Hi everyone, welcome to Asanify. Over the next few minutes, we will quickly have a look at how Asanify HR management and payroll system works. We will have a few short 2-3 minute video clips to go through each of the modules, and you will realize how Asanify very simply and with all the features can probably solve your HR management requirements. The screen that you see right now is the screen where your account will be created. We will have an admin ID through which I'm logging in right now, and we'll create one admin ID for your organization as well. As you log in, the first thing that you'll see is all the important things that require your attention. There is an attendance clock on the side and a bunch of modules, and we'll go through this one by one. The first thing that you must notice is Asanify has multiple profiles that can be created. Right now, I'm logged in as an admin, which has a full company level view of the people. Admin can add people, run payroll, change salaries, and stuff like that. There's also the employee access through which your people will be able to log in, and every employee ID will have a view only to the data that is pertaining to that particular employee. You can also add an accountant. For many small businesses. There are third party CA firms that process the payroll, do the salary transfer, make the TDS payments, etc. So using Asanify, you can give portal access to those third party CA firms as well. And there are a bunch of modules related to hiring, people database, running payroll, salary components, whatever customization may be needed for your company, leave, attendance management, which we'll go through one by one. Yeah. One of the things that we must notice is the simplicity of Asanify, and that's where the name Asanify comes from. We want to simplify how people get started on the system. We have done a deep integration with Excel, and we realize that people are far more comfortable with the data that has been sitting in the spreadsheet. And to onboard them on Asanify, they literally just need to upload 2 or 3 Excel sheets. The first of those Excel sheets that you see right now is the employee core data, and I'll show you how that works. In the employee core data, all you have to do is have some bare minimum details about the employees, like employee ID, name, gender, date of joining, date of birth, work email ID, etc. And you can simply just start the upload button. Whatever Excel sheet that you may have, you can upload from here, and the AI tool that we have built will automatically map the fields to the Asanify columns the way the system will understand it. And once you can confirm the mapping, you are ready to use the system with all your people data. Similarly, you can also upload the salary breakup, which essentially means that the monthly or the annual salary that your people have, you can download a template file as well, or you can just simply start uploading the annual or monthly salary, which talks about what is the basic salary, HRA, LTA, or whatever components that you might have. Once you have started and done the upload for employee data and their salary breakup, if you go to the people's tab, you will see all your people profile would have gotten created already. If I click on any of the profiles, you will see it's almost like a Facebook profile for your employees. Well, all their work related details, their personal details, their salary details, all of that gets populated on its own. It's literally a matter of 1 hour to get started with whatever number of employees you may have. It becomes also very simple to manage the compliances at the employee level. If you think that the PF for the people has to be switched on off, ESI has to be switched on off, etc., you can simply change that and update, and it gets done. Yeah. Under the salary section, you can also see all the past salaries of people. In case they've had an increment during the middle of the year, it will show what was the salary and what was the effective date from that salary. And that becomes an important input for taking into account while calculating the payroll for the full financial year. In the next module, we'll touch upon some of the other features as we go forward. Over the next 2 minutes or so, we'll see how Asanify quite simply helps you manage your entire attendance system, no matter how nuanced your attendance policies might be. While starting attendance management as an admin, one of the first things that you have to do is go to attendance and define what the attendance policy for your company is. Here, Asanify allows you to define as many types of attendance policy that because we understand that different people in the company might have different attendance requirements. Some people may be working 6 days a week, some 5 days a week, some flexi hours as long as they finish their 8 hours or 9 hours in the day. So you can create those multiple policies. We have preloaded some of those policies on Asanify, which you can make use of, or quite simply create a policy of your own. You will also see that against each policy at any point in time, you can make that policy inactive, active, or you can star mark it as a default so that all your employees will automatically get marked under that particular policy. So right now, what I'll do is for any of these policies, I'll show you how it works. Let's say for any general shift policy, I can define what the starting time for the shift is. Let's say 9 a.m. in the morning. What time does the shift get over? If I want to give any break in between, let's say 1 hour, I can define how many hours the employee must complete to qualify as full day. Let's say 7 hours. How many hours that the employee must complete to qualify as a half day? Let's say 4 hours. And if there is any late coming tolerance that I want to give, let's say half an hour of late coming is allowed under the attendance policy. I can also define that if there are too many late comings, I can do a one loss of pay deduction for every 4 days or 5 days that the employee may be coming late. I can define which are the working days by every week, and all I need to do is update that policy. Once my policy is updated, I can very simply add or remove employees under that policy. I can just select the particular policy type. Let's say I can add some employees, I can remove some employees, and the assignment takes effect immediately. Once my policy assignment is done, when the employees log into the system, they will see the clock in and clock out button on the right hand side. Every morning, they simply have to clock in, at which point the timestamp of when they start working gets recorded. And in the evening, they can quite simply clock out when they end the day's work. And the system takes into account between the clock in and clock out, whether they were present, absent, full day, half day, whatever it might be for the policy that has been assigned to them. As a reminder for the employees, what we also do is Asanify will show you the timestamp of what time they had clocked in. There are email reminders that go out confirming that their clock in has been registered. They should not forget to clock out and stuff like that. As an admin, if you go to the attendance section on the left navigation bar, you can see the attendance clock for any employee for the entire month at any point in time. Let's say I want to see for the month of Jan, what was the attendance schedule for this particular employee. You'll see that the person was present, absent, what were the timestamp. We also track the GPS location. Say, for example, if I want to see on this particular date, the person had clocked in on a certain time, clocked out at a certain time. If I want to see the GPS location, I can simply go to the location tab, select the employee, select the date for which I want to see where the person had clocked in and clocked out from. This will give the exact Google Map location for where the employee was. And this functionality becomes very useful for people who either travel for work or they're supposed to be on a client side. That becomes a confirmation whether the person was actually present where he or she was supposed to be. At any point of time, if your employee thinks that they had forgotten to mark attendance, regularizing attendance also becomes very simple. All that the employee needs to do is on the attendance clock, if they see that they have been marked absent, let's say for 4th of February, they can click regularize, select the date that on the 4th of February, while they have not marked the attendance, they had actually worked from 9 a.m. in the morning to, let's say, 7 p.m. in the evening. Once they regularize their attendance, it goes to their manager for approval. And after the approval, their attendance gets recorded on the system. This makes it very easy for employees to regularize, check what their attendance has been, and the admin can have a full view of their timestamp and locations. In the next module, we'll talk about how the leave policy works on Asanify. Hi, in this section, we'll have a look at how Asanify can handle the leave management for your organization. As an admin on the left navigation panel, you can go to the leave section and first take a look at the leave policies. We have preloaded a lot of sample leave policies, which may be relevant for you, or you can create a policy of your own quite easily. Let's have a look at how the policies are created on the system. I can give the name of the policy, let's say the sample policy 1. I can define the features of my sample leave policy. Let's say I want to classify it as any of these leave types, let's say casual leave. I can define from what date the policy is effective, whether the leave is encashable or not. I can define multiple other rules. Let's say I want to give out 12 leaves to my employees in a year, where one leave is given out every month. Then the accrual pattern is fixed. The accrual is done throughout every period. If total per year leaves is 12 and it is given out monthly, I can also define whether it is given at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month. You can also define whether the balance at the end of the month will get reset to zero or will keep getting carried forward month on month. Usually, no is a better idea because the leaves don't expire every month. You'll expire it at the end of the calendar year period in a typical sort of a way. For every employee, you can also define whether there's a waiting period before the leaves start accruing. This is usually used in case of probation period of an employee. So you can define whether the employee needs to have worked in the company for X number of days before the leave starts accruing in the kitty. For this example, let's say there is no waiting period for the leaves to start accruing for the people. We can define the maximum carry forward days. Let's say out of 12, only 6 will get carried forward. I can also define how many days of leaves can be accrued in total. So if 12 leaves are given every year and 6 are carried forward, I say 18 is the maximum balance that the employee will have at any point in time. Do you want the leave to be given on a pro rata basis? So if somebody joins in the middle of the month, instead of one leave, they'll get only half a leave. The system also supports decimal leave count. So if somebody has 2.5 leaves, they can use that half for the half-day leave that they may want to take on any particular day. There are a last set of questions that we need to define before we finally implement the policies. You can define whether you want the employees to give some advance notice before they start applying for leave. Let's say for this particular leave type, I want my employees to put in an advance notice of at least 1 day. Should the advance notice be given for all leave counts or only when people are taking more than X number of leaves? These are important parameters because for a 1-day emergency leave, the employee may not want to give a certain advance notice. But if somebody is going for a week off, you'll need a significant advance notice to be given. That is something that can be defined quite easily on the system. You can also define during the leave period of the employees whether the holidays and the weekends which are falling in between, are they excluded or included? Can the half-day leaves or quarter-day leaves can be taken by the employee or not? You can also define whether the negative leave balance is allowed or not. Many a times the companies allow the negative leave balance so that when the employee works over the next few months, the balance will be reset to zero. For this example, we are saying the negative leave balance is not allowed. If you have 3 or 4 different types of leave policies, you can also define whether the different leaves that are there available for the employees, can it be combined or not? Say, can a casual leave and a sick leave can be taken together or not? In case you don't have any such recommended way of combining leaves, you can leave this blank. Once I have defined these set of questions, my policy is ready. I can create the policy and assign the policies quite simply to all the other employees that are there in the company. Updating assignments at this time, the system will throw up for all the people who have been a part of the company, whether I want to define the policy effective date. The default setting is, in case somebody had joined in the middle of the year, like this particular employee who had joined on the 3rd of Feb, the policy will be effective from the hiring date, not from the 1st of January. In this, the default values are usually what most companies want to go with. You can assign the leaves and you're ready to roll. Once your leave policy is assigned, when your employees log into the system, under the apply section, when they log in, they'll be able to see all the different leave types that are available to them. This is the policy that we have just now created. Suppose the employee wants to take this particular leave type. All they have to do is click here, select the date for which they are going to take the leave, give the reason for their manager to know why they are on leave, and mark record leave. At this point, the leave request goes to the line manager, and following the approval, it gets recorded on the system. In Asanify, we have also created a calendar view of the organization so that for all the employees in your company, whether it's their birthday or the company holiday, or when somebody is on leave, the calendar will get populated for anyone to know exactly who's present at what time. It usually helps from a scheduling perspective if something has to be planned in the company. Another feature that Asanify supports quite readily is adjusting the leave balances. Many a times you are changing the leave policy in the middle of the year and you want to reset the balance. For any employee, any particular leave type, you can quite easily set the balance as on a particular date. Let's say on the 1st of February, I want to reset the balance as 10 instead of 21, and I can update the leave. From that point onwards, the policy kicks in and the balance instead of being 21 starts off at 10. It allows the admin of the account a lot of flexibility to change the policies at any point of time, even during the middle of any particular year. Quite simply, that is how the organizations can manage their leaves using Asanify. Hi. In this section, we'll take a look at how using Asanify, you can create the salary components for all your employees with whatever custom earnings or standard earnings and deductions that you may have. If you go to the salary component section as an admin, you'll be able to see there are some standard earnings and statutory deductions which are pre-configured in Asanify already. There is basic salary, HRA, bonus given out, commission, provident fund, leave travel allowance. All these are standard components which are there in most companies. We have preloaded that on Asanify already. You don't have to create that. Similarly, the statutory deductions like professional tax, provident fund, TDS, ESI are all ready for you to use already. If you have any custom earning components which are unique, let's say food allowance, uniform allowance, mobile bill allowance, and stuff like that, you can quite easily create your custom earnings. Let's have a look at how you can create these custom earning components quite simply. Let's say I want to create mobile allowance, mobile and internet allowance, let's say, and we'll have a look at some of the components that I need to define. Is this a fixed pay to be paid every month, or is it a variable that changes? Let's say it's a fixed pay. When I click on next, the system will ask me, is it taxable or not? Do I calculate this component on the pro rata basis depending upon how many days the employee has been present in the company? Is it there for EPF or ESI contribution? Yes or no? And once I select the right components, I can quite easily create this as a salary component. Similarly, the custom deductions. There are several times when companies pay, say, a medical insurance for their employees, and they deduct that amount from the CTC of the employee. That becomes like a custom deduction for that particular company. You can quite easily create these custom deductions. Let's say I want to have a deduction in my people's salary, which is called, let's say, retention allowance, which is a part of the CTC but not paid out to the employees till a certain period. I can then define whether it's a pre-tax deduction or post-tax. Should the employee's contribution taken in CTC or not? Is it calculated on a pro rata basis, yes or no? And quite simply just create that custom earning. Once the custom earnings and deductions are created, all these components become available to add in the salary of any particular employee. Let's have a look at how this is done. In the people section, if I go to, let's say, any one particular employee, in the salary tab, we will see that currently for this particular employee, there is no salary data that is added. If I were to add that salary right now, I can quite simply define what the CTC for this employee is. Let's say it is 10 lakhs. The system will automatically create a component or the different composition of the salary. 50% of the CTC will be basic, 50% of basic will be HRA. This is a recommended structure that you can obviously change as per your liking. So let's say I'm making 5 lakhs of basic as 4.5 lakhs. All the custom earnings and deductions that I had created can be added as a part of the salary from here. Let's say if I had added a custom earning as let's say the food allowance, then I can add, let's say, 15,000 rupees to be given out as the food allowance in this particular employee's salary. Similarly, if there is a deduction like the one that we created just now, the retention allowance, which is a pre-tax deduction, I can define that the employer contribution in that pre-tax deduction is, let's say, 15,000. Is there an employee contribution? I can define that as well, in which case this particular part will be deducted from the salary of the employee and it will not be counted as the CTC. Once I add these components, my salary is ready to be previewed and I can save that for the employee. Another feature on Asanify, which is very unique, is you'll be able to preview the monthly take home for the employee basis the salary that you have decided. This becomes immensely helpful because a lot of times just from the CTC figure, the employee doesn't know what the final amount in hand will be. So if you preview the salary, you will see pretty much what the net salary for the employee will look like. You can also play around with the payroll inputs and investment declarations to see what the final take home will turn out to be if the employee is doing those investment declarations like Section 80C, 80D, etc. Once I'm happy with my salary, I can just confirm it and the salary gets added to the employee. This becomes a critical step before running the payroll, adding multiple employee salary through a bulk upload or by doing it one by one the way we saw just now. Hi. In this section, we'll take a look at how Asanify simplifies the investment declaration that employees have to do in order to save a little on their income tax. If you go to the investment section on the left navigation panel, and you can do it as an admin for all the employees, or you can do it individually as an employee. Right now, I'm taking a look at the employee view of how your employees can make the investment declaration. So I'm toggling off the admin button right now. In our experience, we might have seen that Section 80C, 80D, 24B, etc., can be quite confusing. And often employees keep coming back to HR or accounts to keep checking that how much are they eligible for, what do they need to save some of their income taxes, what are the right instruments. So we have gamified this entire experience for the employees in a manner that it becomes very simple for them to understand. If you look at this, in one view, the employees can easily see which all sections of investments are valid for them, how much is the amount that they can invest in order to save maximum income tax, and of that amount, how much has been done already. If I click on, say, 80C, it will also give me a list of instruments through which I can invest in order to take my investments from 24,000 to 1.5 lakh so that I can maximize on my tax saving. So let's say I want to add a life insurance premium of another 100,000, let's say. I can also attach the investment proof here. Or if I'm doing this activity from the mobile phone using the mobile camera, I can straight click the photo and I can straight away click the photograph of my investment proof and attach it here and submit. Once I submit my investment declaration, you'll see that the 24,000 of 80C will suddenly now become 1,24,000. And when the admin of the company is running the next payroll, these investment amount will be taken into consideration while calculating my income tax. The same thing can be done on Section 80D, or let's say the Section 10, where I can declare my entire annual rent that I'm paying. It's also important to note that when you are in the company, if you have joined in the middle of the financial year, you must declare the previous income of your past employer as well. This will make sure that the tax calculations that your new company is doing is accurate and you don't have to pay any extra tax at the time of filing your returns. Quite simply, once this is done, your payroll activity for the admin is ready to be executed. Thank you. Hi. For any company, whether they have 5 employees or 500 employees, one of the most important and financially sensitive activity that HR is supposed to conduct every month is executing the payroll. In this section, we'll take a look at how Asanify helps you run the payroll activity for your company in literally 5 or 10 seconds every month. Let's see how that is done. On the left navigation panel, all I need to do is within the payroll section, I click on Run Payroll. I have to select the month for which I'm running the payroll. Let's say I want to do it for Jan of 2022. Once I click this run button, the system is calculating the overall earnings, deductions, tax component, gross salary, net salary for the people, basis all the information that has already been fed into Asanify. You see, the system has thrown the gross and net salary number for all the employees already. I can also click on the payslip preview even before finalizing the payroll to see what the end salary slip for any particular employee is going to look like at the completion. This just helps me be sure that how the system has been calculating the numbers is accurate and as per the expectation that we had. If somebody wants to go and see the step-by-step calculation of how the tax has been computed, that also can be done quite easily. This is literally how any person would run it on an Excel or any other software for doing the TDS calculation. So considering the applicable salary, any processed inputs that might be there, if there is any pro rata being done, processing the PF, ESI, taxes, you'll see there is a detailed formula for each of these for you to see how the calculation and the net salary has been calculated. This features make sure that at any point in time, if your payroll is not throwing the right number or the number as per your expectations, you can clearly identify at what stage the input into the system is not right, and you can go back and correct it. Another key differentiator in Asanify is the fact that our attendance system talks seamlessly to the payroll system. If people in your company are not present and they have not even taken the leave for that particular day, you can choose to sync their attendance with the payroll and calculate the loss of pay days. In clicking this button called sync LOP days, the system will ask me for what period attendance am I looking at. Since I'm running the payroll for January, the system will throw the January attendance. Once I click on sync LOP, the system now goes and sees the attendance record for all my employees and automatically populates the loss of pay days that you see here. So for these people who had not been present in the company for X number of days, it gets populated already. Here I can also do any input that I may have over and above their usual salary component. Like, let's say this person has done some stellar job and I want to give them a 5,000 rupee bonus over and above their salary. If somebody else deserves a commission to be paid, I can do that entry. If I want to add some reimbursement outside of their normal salary component, I can do that. If there are a bunch of these things that are present with you in an Excel, you can simply upload the CSV and do this activity for multiple employees as well. Once I've done that, all I need to do is process inputs and review. Now the system goes back and recalculates all the tax depending upon what the numbers have now been entered manually over and above the system numbers that are already in place. At this point, all I need to do is confirm and generate the payslip, and my payroll activity is done. You'll see the system throws the overall net salary, provident fund amount, ESI amount, professional tax, etc., etc. And this can be passed to your third party who does the actual payroll execution, or the in-house team, which is going to credit the money to people's salary account. At this point, even the payslip of the employees gets automatically generated and they can go and download the same for their account. Let's have a look at the past pay run. If you have to give the payroll sheet to a third-party CA firm or to your accounts team, you can simply go to past pay run. This is the January payroll that we have run just now. By clicking on it, you will get the overall company level view and individual employee level view of each of the components that have been earned and the net salary which finally needs to be paid out. This can quite easily be downloaded as an Excel or a CSV and passed to the third-party team or your internal accounts team. As far as your employees are concerned, once the payroll activity is completed, they can just go to the payslip section, click on download. For every employee, they'll be able to see for their own salary slip. As an admin, I can see it for all the people. And once you select the employee, let's say I want to see the payslip for December of 2021 for this employee, I can either download the payslip or send the payslip to the employee's email ID. At Asanify, we have also given the payslip setting option to the admin of the company, where apart from the default fields, which are the standard components in the payslip, you can also customize it to decide whether you want to show the bank details, PAN, UAN, etc., etc. If you're doing the loss of pay calculation basis people's attendance, it's usually a good idea to show the attendance summary and the daily attendance status as well on the payslip. It gets added as an annexure, so people know that if they are being deducted 5 days of loss of pay, which were those 5 days that they were not present. And with this, our payroll activity gets completed quite seamlessly. Thank you. Hi. In this section, we'll take a look at how Asanify handles another important function that related to hiring. For companies which are growing fast, hiring is always a key focus activity for HR. Let's look at how Asanify can help you simplify that. As an admin, if you go to the hiring module, there are 3 or 4 sections within hiring that you can see. Let's start with the careers page. Asanify helps you create a careers page which allows you to do the job posting for all the open positions in your company. And you can actually create a careers page which is customized exactly as per your specifications. As you can see, you can add your company logo, a company specific banner. You can give all the details about the company. You can even customize the body color, header color, font, etc. to make sure that it looks exactly as per what your guidelines of your company is. Let's have a look at what this public page of a career website looks like. So if you look at the screen right now, and I will just open it into one of the pages of Asanify. Let's see what the career page actually looks like. So you'll see your company logo appears on top, the banner that you would have put, all the details about the company, whether it's the company information, culture, perks, video testimonials. You can pretty much put a link for everything, and at the bottom, all the open positions for the profile that you're looking at. Let's have a look at when I click on any of these positions. Asanify will detail out all the job description, what is the qualification, what are the salary benefits, each of those things for the candidates to have a look at what the company is looking for. For small businesses, hiring is often the most important area because you're looking to grow your team, and it's very important to give that initial good impression to your prospective employees because you want them to feel good before they join your organization. In the career module, apart from the career page, like I said, you can create a job post. You can also share those job posts on LinkedIn. Like most businesses, LinkedIn becomes a rich source of attracting good talent. We have deep integration with LinkedIn, and whatever job postings you're making on Asanify, in a single click can also be posted on LinkedIn. When the candidates are applying for any of these positions, the candidate details can be added on Asanify either one by one or as a bulk upload, and the offers can be rolled out using Asanify itself. Let's take a look at how that works. In the template section, you will see that we have also loaded some of the standard templates, or you can create a template of your own. There is no restriction of how many types of templates you may want for offer letter rollout. You may have interns in your company who are given a certain type of offer letter, full-time employees being given some other type of offer letter, or consultants being issued some offer letters. Each of those things is possible quite easily on Asanify. If I click on create new template, you will see that I can either upload the Word document that I already have of my company offer letter, and it can get automated using Asanify, or I can load the default template, which will give the standard offer letter format, which you can customize for your company. And then this becomes a template which starts getting issued out to your prospective candidates. You will see in the default template, there are multiple variable placeholders within these curly brackets that you might see. These are all the variable fields that get picked up for each candidate separately when you're rolling out the offer letter. So in effect, you just have to upload the template once, and depending upon which candidate's profile, CTC, date of joining, all those details get dynamically picked up from Asanify. We've put out some 50 odd variable placeholders, and these are the things you can customize in your offer letter quite easily. Yeah. Once the template is loaded, like I mentioned, that rolling out the offer becomes literally at the click of a button. If the status of the candidate has been offer generated, you can send the offer email from Asanify itself, and the PDF of the offer letter gets sent out to the prospective candidate. Yeah. With this, your hiring module gets complete on Asanify. Thank you. Hi. We've so far seen on Asanify how pretty much end-to-end how HR system functionalities, features have been added to simplify your work life. In the next 2 minutes or so, we'll quickly take a look at how Asanify integrates with multiple channels of communication and spreadsheet to make sure that people who are using Asanify find it not only easy, but never get stuck at any point in time. If you see the people section, which is where all our employee data is recorded, there is a select all checkbox button. I can select multiple employees and I can bulk edit all their details very, very quickly. Often it happens in companies that we have to change people's designation, department, line manager, their personal details. All of that is possible in a spreadsheet kind of a layout on Asanify. People are very comfortable working on Excel sheets, and here Asanify takes the best practices of Excel spreadsheet and still gives the power of a cloud-based software, which makes things not just robust, but also very, very simple to implement. So like you can see here, I have 5 employees and I can update all of their details quite easily here. Say if I have to change the employee ID for this one to 12345, I have to change somebody's department. If I have to update the bank details here, this works exactly like how you will see in an Excel spreadsheet. And once I press continue and submit, all the bulk details that I have made get submitted on the Asanify platform quite easily. Another important feature is around day-to-day task management. You will see that when hiring happens in a company, there are a bunch of activities that need to be completed. In Asanify, you can create a checklist for those onboarding tasks. Say when a new joinee is coming, somebody has to arrange for the laptop, somebody has to plan a training, somebody has to send a welcome email. Each of those series of activities can be put as a task, and whenever a new joinee joins, those people get notified about the activity that they have to complete. This makes sure that the entire onboarding activity becomes fully automated, and there is no problem as you scale from 2 people to 20 people hiring. The same thing around task management can be done at the time of offboarding as well. You can create your multiple offboarding tasks like publish job posting, sending out offboarding email, issuing reference letter, etc. And when somebody is quitting the organization, these tasks immediately get notified to either the employee or the line manager or somebody else in the company. Yeah. In the analytics section on Asanify, you will see a bunch of reports which have been configured. These reports take into account all modules like leave, attendance, people report, payroll, expenses, etc. And this certainly makes it very simple because any of these reports are readily available and can be downloaded into Excel for any future analysis. Last but not the least, what you see at the bottom here is a very powerful chat button. At any point in time, if your employees or you yourself are stuck, we are just a message away. With a 24/7 live chat support, you will get your answers either by somebody at the back end or even before that happens. Suppose your employees are stuck with how do I mark my attendance? If there is a typical employee query like this, even before somebody can pick it up and make a response to your employee, the system will identify what the employee is asking and they'll give the article related to what the employee has asked for. If you click on these articles, this will have a step-by-step guidance with screenshots as to how the employee can go, where to click, and to get the request fulfilled. The idea behind Asanify continues to be that the systems should be simple to use and at no point should the employees get stuck. Thank you.